Last week, Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers suffered a tough loss against the 49ers. They lost this game 20-9. Bryce Young had 169 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown to 2 interceptions. And the reason why I say that this was a tough loss for the Carolina Panthers, this was a primetime game. So a lot of eyes are on this game. And your defense was phenomenal early on. Brock Purdy had 3 interceptions in this game. J.C. Horn was phenomenal. And you could have easily cashed in on those mistakes with the 49ers. Bryce Young in the red zone, he had a bad interception. He could have easily used his legs, go into the red zone. You walk away with 6 points. You get the extra point. You walk away with the complete touchdown package. But instead of going out there and using his legs, he puts the football into a tight window. It pops up. It goes for an interception to Jair Brown. And the play calling was abysmal last week with Dave Canales. And the main reason why this was a tough loss against the 49ers, just a week before, Bryce Young had the best game of his career as a player with the Carolina Panthers. 448 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and you won that game 30-27 in overtime. And we've seen Bryce Young have big-time moments this season against the Miami Dolphins, against the Dallas Cowboys, against the Atlanta Falcons a few weeks ago. And especially in the back half of last season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Atlanta Falcons, Kansas City, and the Philadelphia Eagles. So we know that the talent is there with Bryce Young. He just needs to be more consistent. But today you face the Los Angeles Rams. And the Panthers, they were major underdogs in this game. Now the Panthers, they have been underdogs before this season against the Dallas Cowboys and against the Green Bay Packers. And they won those games. Even against the Miami Dolphins, they were underdogs in that game. But the Dolphins won the worst teams in the NFL. So you would think, if you're a casual viewer, well, we have the Rams here, phenomenal football team, the MVP favorite, and Matthew Stafford. He only has 2 interceptions entering this game. The Carolina Panthers stunned the Los Angeles Rams at home, and they won this game 31-28. And I'm going to talk about the defense here more in depth later on, but I want to give Bryce Young his flowers. 15-20 in this game. Very efficient against his pass rush. 206 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And the biggest key here in this game against the Los Angeles Rams, the play calling was better. It was similar to what happened against the Atlanta Falcons in the second half. You featured your running backs more. Just last week, Rico only had 6 rushing attempts on the day. That wasn't the case in this game against the Los Angeles Rams. You fed Rico. He had 18 carries, 58 rushing yards, only 3.2 yards a carry. And Rico has been one of the better running backs in the NFL this season. But Chuba Hubbard, who was phenomenal last year, had over 1,000 rushing yards, 17 rushing attempts, 83 rushing yards, 5 yards a carry. And the reason why I love this game plan, you went with the hot hand. Chuba Hubbard was red hot for a couple drives. You go with Chuba Hubbard. Rico, he's hot here. Let's go with Rico. And Rico did have a run that went for 17 yards. And remember what I said a couple minutes ago in the red zone last week against the 49ers when Bryce Young had that bad interception. Just use your legs. We've seen Bryce Young use his legs in the open field. And I'm not saying that he's a dynamic runner like Josh Allen, like Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick. He doesn't have the athleticism in his game. But he can move around. He can get 5 to 10 yards with his legs in the right situation. They ran a play-action play. And play-action worked in this game because you stuck with the run. It didn't work last week because you went away from the run game. Bryce Young had a long rush that went for 24 yards. Phenomenal. And he was laughing. No one was in the area. The Rams were not expecting for Bryce Young to run the football. And you got big yards out of that. And that comes down with the constant rushing attacks that you have with Chuba Hubbard and Rico. Jalen Coker, best game for him this season. 74 receiving yards on 4 catches, 1 receiving touchdown. The longest catch of the day went for 33 yards. Teteroy McMillan. I say this every single week, even in the losses with McMillan. He's one of the best receivers in the game. And this is just his rookie season. It's a home run pick. He only had 1 catch today. But that 1 catch went for 43 yards and it went for a touchdown late in this game. Teteroy McMillan, whether he's in the slot or is an outside wide receiver, he's easily the best wide receiver on this team. And his route running is pretty impressive for a player his size. You would think for a player that has that big frame. As tall as he is, he's a 50-50 wide receiver, and he is. But he can run some smooth routes in the open space. We've seen him do this against safeties and against linebackers underneath, and this is why it's important to put him inside the slot. The one thing that I will give Dave Canales for, over the last 5 games, they're putting him in the slot just a little bit more. They're moving him across the field as an outside wide receiver inside the slot, using him in motion patterns. That is phenomenal. And it opens up this run game. Chuba Hubbard also had 2 carries, 41 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Chuba was phenomenal in this game. But this is why the Carolina Panthers are so frustrating to watch this season. Not because they're a bad football team. They're so damn inconsistent. If they can just be more consistent, they can win this division. You look at their remaining schedule. They control their own destiny. You're still in second place in the NFC South, but just check this out. You face the Saints next week, and you are on the road against New Orleans. Now, the Saints, they have given Bryce Young a lot of problems in the past. It's time for him to step up and to be more consistent for the rest of the season. If he wants to be the franchise quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years, you have to step up in moments like how he stepped up in today's game against the Rams and how he did against the Falcons a couple weeks ago, but especially against the division rival and the New Orleans Saints. And I mean this in the most respectful way. The Saints right now, they're not a good football team. And just a couple weeks ago, you lost against this team at home, 17-7. Bryce Young had a bad interception in that game. It's time for Bryce Young to wake up in this matchup, and Dave Canales has to do his part as well. But you can defeat the New Orleans Saints. Then you face the Buccaneers at home. The Panthers, they have a strong home record this season. You should be able to win this game against the Buccaneers at home. And that should give you the upper hand in this division. Then you face Seattle at home, and you close out against the Bucs on the road. You win out, you make the NFL playoffs. Even if you lose against the Saints, you still need some help from the Buccaneers in terms of losing. But don't be that team that depends on another team to go out there and to lose games and depend on other teams to win games for you. You never want to be in that position. This is still a young football team. But you're 7-6 right now. These are the most wins that the Carolina Panthers have had in the season since 2022. It's time for the Carolina Panthers to go out there, control their own destiny, win out. And you win this division, you host a playoff game. And that will be phenomenal to see. It's not going to be easy. But this is why Dave Canales is your head coach. This is why you brought him in from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is why you trade up to select Bryce Young with the first overall pick. This is why you selected Tedero McMillan in the first round for moments like this. This is why you've built this offensive line up around Bryce Young. It's time for those investments to pay off with the Carolina Panthers. But offensively today, the game plan was there. They had some bad moments. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough to get this win. But this defense, they balled out. You looked damn good last week. You looked damn good again this week. You had 2 interceptions on Matthew Stafford. Nick Scott had an interception in the red zone. I love red zone takeaways because you're saving your team from a touchdown, from a potential field goal. So instead of getting 3 points or 7 points, they walk away with nothing. You get the football back. Just a great play by Nick Scott. Then just a couple plays later, here comes Mike Jackson, the number 2 cornerback with the Carolina Panthers, walks away with a pick 6. It was very similar to what the Panthers did against Michael Penix Jr. early in the year when the Falcons were the road team and they got the pick 6 on MPJ. But your defense, they set the tone. And you had a fumble on Matthew Stafford late in this game. The defense, they were flying all over the field. They got some things done. Devontae Adams did have 2 receiving touchdowns, but he's one of the best wide receivers in the game. But Lathan Ransom was all over the field. Had a sack, had a tackle for loss, two solo tackles on the day, 11 total tackles. That will get it done. Nick Scott, second best player. Smith Wade has been a very good player this season for the Carolina Panthers, especially the last 3 weeks. Trayvon Wallace got some things going inside the linebacking room. And you were down in this game. You did not have some of your key players on defense, which is very important to bring up. Christian Roseboom, was out for this game. Not a perfect linebacker, but he's played better on the back half of this season. Trayvon Moring, an impactful safety. He was suspended for this game for punching the San Francisco 49ers player in the groin last week. You were down him. No J.C. Horn, your best player in your secondary. You may say the best player with the Carolina Panthers on the defensive end. He was out with a concussion. So you're undermanned in this game against this phenomenal football team in the Rams. And Derek Brown, tremendous in this game as well. He deserves a lot of credit as just a pure run stopper and putting pressure on the opposing quarterback. I will say this about the Carolina Panthers. I always say that their offense is very inconsistent with the playing with Bryce Young and the play calling with Dave Canales. The one thing about this defense, the secondary is strong. The rushing defense has been better this season compared to last season. I'm worried about the edge rushing spot. They cannot put consistent pressure on the opposing quarterback. That is something to look out for as the season goes on. But besides that, I love the adjustments that the defensive coordinator, Evero, made in this game. Just a very good situation all around for the Carolina Panthers. And it's your typical Panthers upset this season. They win games when you expect for them to lose. And they lose games when you expect for them to win. They're just a weird football team this season. But it's up to Dave Canales to bring this team together, carry over this momentum. You have to win next week's game against the Saints, and that will parlay over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game at home. You win back-to-back division games here, you could be set for the rest of the season. It's also important to bring this up. You swept the Atlanta Falcons. That is 2 division wins in your back pocket right there. You will fully control your destiny at that point. But a great game all around for Bryce Young, this defense, and Dave Canales. But consistency is the key here. And one more thing to bring up. With the entire 5th-year option conversation with Bryce Young, they make it to the postseason, you exercise that 5th-year option. If they don't make the postseason, you still exercise that 5th-year option. I went back and I looked at the quarterbacks for the free agency in this year's class. They're not that good. So you stick with Bryce Young. You see what he has and just hope that he could be more consistent. But you run the football more with Chuba Hubbard and Rico moving forward. And I think at this point in time in the year, Chuba Hubbard, well rested, missed time this season with a calf injury. That's why Rico had the breaking out party against the Dallas Cowboys and against the Miami Dolphins. Not to say just shy completely away from Rico, but it's time to mix in Chuba Hubbard just a little bit more, like how you did in this game. Just feature him more. You may want to give him more touches in the game. Then you go to Rico. A 1-2 counterattack right there. You work off a play action with Bryce Young. Now you target certain levels of the field. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Carolina Panthers moving forward? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.